Hello. So, I spent last evening and today building the trim wheels, both the rudder and nose wheel trim, and the throttle. So, this is my first business testing out. Well, that was a short runway. And I'm overweight, 103%. Trying to take off from a short runway wasn't particularly smart. Didn't use flaps. Probably should have done that. I forgot to. So yeah. I built the trim wheels. Those are easy enough to put together, but I still managed to screw it up as the nose wheel trim is not working. It fires on both stuff, both up and down at the same time, so I need to open that up. But that one, the trim wheels are relatively easy to take apart again, so not too worried about that. I also need to untighten them. I tightened them too much, so yeah, I forgot the gears here. They're now on the wrong thing. So yeah, I still don't have a proper wheel lever or flaps lever, etc. for the cockpit, so I'm using my F-18 stuff. But because of how I set up the cockpit, they are now way to the side, on the left hand side here. I have to almost jump out of the plane to reach it, so I have to find a better solution for that. But yeah, so just testing the guns. So yeah, building the throttle quadrant was a bit more complex than the rudder and the trim wheels, but still easier than the Spitfire stick. You have to build 3 sensors and a button. That's basically it. And then it's a lot of wires going here and wires going there. You know, I would probably enjoy it if I didn't expect to do something wrong all the time. It wasn't that hard, but me being me, I expected that to do something wrong. So I put it together this morning and didn't really have much high hopes for everything working. But I hooked everything up, put together the rig, which has been expanding. Just trying to find the targets here. And put it all together and brought it up to the computer, hooked it up. The computer found the USB hub, that was good. And the RPM lever worked. The mixture lever worked, but the throttle lever didn't work. You know, the most important of them all. You know, the RPM is probably almost as important, but you know, the mixture lever isn't that important. and the bomb drop button worked. So, you know, I had no idea what was wrong. Hoping it was something easy. Brought it down to the living room, opened it up, and it was just one loose wire that had jumped off at the very end where the Ethernet cable is hooked on. So that was a 2-minute fix. Of those 2 minutes, 90% of that time was spent screwing out screws and screwing them back in. And then hooking it up to the computer again, and yeah, it worked. I did the calibration, and except for the trim wheels being a bit wonky, they need to be looser and the one firing on both cylinders, so to speak. But I don't think that will be a problem to fix. It's probably a short somewhere, some wires crossing or something. And it's really, really fun flying with this cockpit. Looking down, seeing that stick between your legs and feeling the same type of stick when you're flying VR. Really cool, same now with the throttle. So I had to make myself a tiny little mission just to test it out, getting used to flying this stick. It does take some getting used to. So I just lumped some German stuff down there. Oh, I hate this. It's actually quite scary in VR doing these dives. In a jet fighter, not so much, but in a prop plane, yup, scary. Oh, way off, way off. That's not even close. Nope, not even close. Yeah, they probably got a bit of ringing in the ears, but I don't think anyone got properly hurt by that. So yeah, I just made this mission to test out the throttle and drop a bomb with a proper Spitfire bomb drop button. And it's really, really cool. I have also noticed the plane feels more stable. Maybe I just put my stick to get it wrong. It's a bit tight, maybe tighter than it should be, but because it's tight, I have really fine control over it. And I don't have to move it a lot, you know, it's really, the actual movements are really sensitive. So you don't have to move the stick a lot to get pretty nice movements, but I found, to my surprise, once I get used to the sensitivity, that it feels more stable. It's less twitchy. The Spitfire also was known as being twitchy, so maybe I've done something wrong. But I notice it's easier to put my sight on the target and keeping it on the target. Maybe it's the way you hold the stick, maybe it's easier to hold it stable. I mean, I move the stick and I keep the stick there because I'm holding it on the top. I don't know. But for some reason, I feel it's much easier. There's too many trees there. I didn't know there were that many trees when I put the enemies up there. Something got damaged. So you have to be careful because too much movement and you're basically on your head and crashing. But if you keep the moves really slow and small and yeah, it feels really, really good. Really stable. I'm considering using this stick on the Mosquito, simply because I have such trouble keeping that Mosquito stable on the gun runs. rudder silliness now. Ooh, they're firing at me. There are a few half tracks down there. Oops. Yeah, so it's really fun flying with a budget Spitfire cockpit, I guess. The question is if I can convince my brother-in-law to print out the undercarriage lever and the flaps toggle, or lever, or what you're gonna call that little flip-up thingy there. I think he spent quite a lot of money and time printing these parts. The bigger parts takes like 24 hours to build, and there's quite a lot of them. He hasn't told me how much money he wants for the job either. Oh, they're shooting! They're shooting! As you can see there, I had a pretty stable gun run there. I could do small adjustments, putting my gun sight on the target. There's something burning there now, so I definitely hit stuff. Oh, it blew uppy. Oh, but something's still firing at me. Look here, pretty stable. That's actually pretty stable. It might be wrong. I don't think the Spitfire was known as a particularly stable gun platform, so I might have tightened the stick too much or something. I don't know. Stuff is damaged. So yeah, I'm actually surprised that the throttle actually worked, except for that tiny hiccup with one blue wire. It actually worked as it should work. The button works, the button doesn't stick. There's a good amount of tension in the axis, so you can feel you push. I even feel the detent on the throttle, so you don't push past 2800 RPMs. Look here, look how stable that is. I never get that kind of stable gun run. Strange. But yeah. I'm really happy the throttle worked, and hopefully it's not too much trouble fixing the nose trim wheel. And I know it's easy to loosen them up, though, you know, that's not the problem at all. I just hope I don't have to take the entire sensor apart, that there's overlap there, and that's the problem. Something more bluey uppy. Firing off some machine guns here. And the guns. Machine guns, of course, won't take out the half tracks, I think, but there are only 2 half tracks, the rest are soft skin stuff. And 4 303s can probably damage that quite well. So yeah, I think you can be a pretty damn good Spitfire pilot with this deck. Just need to practice more. Still a bit unfamiliar. I don't really know where the targets are now, I'm just firing in their general direction. I I really love this part of the channel map with these flooded fields. Really is a fantastic looking map. I probably put the sun too low, making it hard to see the ground targets. Stuff is wounded. Oh, yeah, okay. That's another thing. The stick is sensitive, so it doesn't take a lot for the Spitfire to almost be on his head if you take your eye off the ball for a few seconds. I'm out of ammo, so I'm going down to land again on that terribly short runway. Landing will be a problem, since the trim wheel doesn't work properly. Landing without proper trim is not easy. Got a bit slow here. I'm not a good lander under best circumstances. But I don't think new stick etc. will help. Oh, again. Taking your eye off the ball for a few seconds and something like this happens. Managed to stall myself properly. Now I don't really know where I am. Where the fuck did the runway go? Ah, I'm way off. Just checking the brake actually works. I'm a bit tired of building those sensors though. They were a bit different on the trim wheels than on the throttle and stick. Used a different kind of thingy, which I have no idea what it's called. So they're not 5 identical sensors, but they're quite similar. They aren't that hard to make, but damn, I hate fucking with those wires. Yeah, okay, that's way too shallow. I'm gonna come in way too shallow here. And I'm dropping too fast. I'm gonna hit hard. Well, I got it on the runway, but yeah, oh yeah. Way too slow there. Just hit way too hard. Oh man. That's gonna come out of my pay. Oh man. Oh well, at least the brake works. See? Works perfectly. I broke the propeller too now. And that wheel is pretty fucked. And here I'm gonna test if I can get that little thingy behind there. There! And the brake is locked. And no, there is locked.